What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Post to Post podcast. This week's episode is episode 74, and with me, as always, my co-host Matt Small.
Hey.
How's things going, man? Good?
Good. How are you?
Good. You get out there and golf at all?
No, but I know you did.
I did. I golfed today. Quick 9 holes. Not a big deal.
A little red over there.
Yeah.
Looking good.
A little sunburn action. All good, though. What else is going on? Everything good? Half of the third round playoffs are all wrapped up.
That's there. It's Friday. It's actually Friday. No, I'm not even going to say it. I watched a movie yesterday, and I was going to bring it up on the podcast, but I'm like, you know what? The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, one of the listeners would be like, Matt, what the hell are you into? And then you would be like, Matt, what the fuck are you into?
Well, now you have to say it. You can't just waste everyone's time. They just wasted 30 seconds of their life listening to you tell about it.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? You're right. There's this movie called Martyrs. Have you ever heard of it before in your life?
What year to come out?
2015, 16.
Okay.
It's a French movie.
All right. Is it dubbed?
It's okay. No, it's not dubbed at all. There's subtitles. But it's like this girl that becomes a woman gets revenge on the family that to compare it, it's like Human Centipede mixed with Hostel. That's kind of why I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, that's probably something I would not have brought up on the air.
So,
but you did. But you decided to.
But you're the one that's like, hey, we're in it, and here we are.
Well, yeah, you brought it up on the air.
Yep. Fun.
So not a good movie?
Fun for the whole family. It was, the acting was actually really fucking good in that film. But other than that, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
We're going to move on.
That's great.
Because we're going to move on.
Well, we got some signs here in the NHL this week. We got a lot of little touch-up news here, which is good. We got some content for you guys. The Columbus Blue Jackets have signed Jack Roslovic to a 2-year, $8 million, $4 million AAV contract extension. In the 2 seasons he's been with the Blue Jackets, he's put up 60 goals, 86 assists, while averaging 13:30 of ice time. He was 4th on the organization in goals this season with 22, and has been a solid pickup for Columbus since being traded to them from Winnipeg with Patrick Laine for Pierre-Luc Dubois and a 3rd-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft.
Big pickup. I should say big extension for Jack Roslovic. He's not up there with like the top names for the Columbus Blue Jackets, but he is like top 4, top 5 player of the organization, and I think that's just a great contract extension on the Columbus Blue Jackets part.
Yeah, definitely a key part of the organization. A top 6 player. It's definitely something that's working for them, and it's good that they extended him. Dallas has also signed forward Denis Gurianov to a 1-year, $2.9 million AAV contract. Looking very young in Dallas. This is a good guy to ink down too. 2.9 seems like a bit of an overpayment for me, but for 1 year, that's not too shabby.
No.
Detroit has signed forward Elmer Soderblom to a 3-year entry-level contract. Do you remember hearing about this guy?
Yeah, Soderblom came up, and I was like very on the fence. I'm like, I've heard the name. I just don't remember.
Yeah, he was big. I think he was somewhere between like 6'3" and 6'5", and he's scoring like Michigan goals over in whatever league he was in Euro. But yeah, this guy was a highlight reel and a half early on this season and during World Juniors, things like that too. So that was pretty cool to see. And Seattle,
moving up.
Yeah. And Seattle has also signed forward Ville Petman to a 2-year entry-level contract.
Nice.
So that's what we got for the signs for this week. We did have one trade to cover as well. This is interesting, a little side tangent for me. Dallas has traded Ben Bishop's contract and a 2022 7th-round pick to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for future considerations. And I actually did some research and found out what future considerations actually are. And this is all according to Jimmy Devellano. He's a longtime exec for the Detroit Red Wings, and I don't know if he's still active or not. This is an older article. But here's a quote from him. It says, "A lot of these future considerations are nothing. It's just somebody taking a salary and you hope nobody ever asks you what you got back. You're unloading a contract and you don't want to look like an idiot." So
wow.
That's kind of nuts. Like, that's what we kind of thought they were, but for someone to put it out there and just be like, yeah, they just have to put something on the other side of the paper to say you traded. You can't just give stuff away for free.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is. I kind of thought that it would be a little bit more than that. Like, maybe you have a little bit of leverage next time you go to the trade table with the guy, but apparently not.
Apparently not. Holy shit. Well, now we know. I like guys that like just say it as it is, who have just been in the middle of everything. I'm like, it's not what you think it is. This is
initially when I saw this trade too, I was thinking like, it's kind of weird to see Buffalo eat some contract space.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was my thought too.
At the same time, last season they signed a ton of their guys to the league minimum, and it seems like that's going to be the strategy going forward. Bring guys up, develop them, pay them $750K. You're going to have a lot of cap space left over. Now you can fill it up with more contract space from another guy that's not actually playing, and you get a pick out of it too. So that'll be good for the future of the organization.
Oh yeah, especially. Yeah, not I'm gonna finish there because Buffalo Sabres, they're on the rise here, but I just didn't get the cap pickup, but I guess we'll see what happens when the time comes, right? But we're gonna move on from that too. The Seattle Kraken goaltender Chris Driedger will be missing the next 7 to 9 months with a torn ACL. The solid assumption would be Joey Daccord takes his place as backup for the time being while Grubauer takes a starting role. I think Joey Daccord is going to be a solid fill-in for him being out. So I don't think this is going to hurt Seattle too much.
Yeah, I think Joey Daccord's a guy that's definitely ready. He just needs his opportunity, and this is the perfect time for him to come in and shine and make the decision hard for Seattle and tell them, hey, look, like, it's up to you guys. You got 3 good guys in the mix now. What are you going to do here?
Right.
So hopefully he creates some stock value for himself, and maybe they can flip him for something or, flip Driedger for something too.
There's only one way to go for the Seattle Kraken, and that is up because they were down all last season, their inaugural season. So I don't know. But hopefully he gets everything figured out. Again, 2 great goaltenders, Chris Driedger. Chris Driedger from the Florida Panthers, that was unreal. Philip Grubauer, Vezina candidate for Colorado Avalanche. They picked up great goaltending. It's just I don't know what's going on with the team. But, I want to see Chris Driedger and, Grubauer, be that tandem for the organization. Hopefully Driedger comes back 100%,
Torn ACL is one of the hardest ones to come back from, too, so let's hope that he does, but we'll see.
Right. Moving on from that to Calgary Mayor. I knew as soon as I was typing this, I'm gonna ruin this. Calgary Mayor Yoti Gondek honored a bet she made with Edmonton's Mayor Amarjeet Sohi during the Battle of Alberta series and came to work in Edmonton Oilers jersey with Oilers face paint to boot. Oh, Canada. I actually like that. That's actually pretty cool to see.
I thought it was a pretty cool bet for them to even make to begin with, and it's funny to see it all go down because the entire, mayoral staff that was at the event with her had to wear the Edmonton jerseys as well, too. Not the face paint, but the jerseys, and I thought it was pretty funny to see. It was a good, lighthearted sportsmanship thing.
Right. I feel like we've seen it here, too, in the States. Bunch of... I can't think. Was it like Obama had like something going on? Putting you on the spot. There was something going on with the States.
Thanks, Obama.
But let's jump into the Stanley Cup playoffs here with the Lightning versus Rangers. Some Lightning news for everyone. Lightning now hold the longest playoff streak without consecutive losses with 60 games starting on August 3rd, 2020 to June 3rd, 2022. In second is the Montreal Canadiens with 39 games starting April 11th, 1976 to May 18th, 1978. So that gap with 60 games and 39 games is unbelievable with this Tampa Bay team.
It is crazy to think about, too, with all the dynasties that there were back in the day. Like, they all ended up losing back-to-back games at some point, and it just never happened for this Tampa Bay team until the New York Rangers came along this season. But, yeah, I think a large part of that is Vasilevsky. The drive that he gets, the fire under his ass when he loses a game, like he comes back the next game and it's either a 1-goal win or a shutout win. Like it's crazy to see. So I think a lot of this sits on Vasilevsky and the defensive core of the Tampa Bay Lightning, but it stinks to see it end. But Jesus, it had to end at some point when you're 21 games ahead of the next guy, right?
Had to.
There was a pretty cool little clip here, too. John Cooper cutting Nick Paul's airtime short during his Game 2 first intermission interview. This was hilarious. So he's basically like being asked a question by the reporter, and Cooper comes down the hallway, sees him being interviewed, and just yells, "Paul, let's go." And Nick literally like stops his sentence and like turns around and leaves. He's like, "I gotta go."
It reminds me, there's like a reporter for, I think it was BBC, might have been America too. They're sitting down talking to a soldier, and they're at like an air base, and something goes off or something yelled and like mid conversation, mid interview, just gets up and just goes. And that's like, this is what like reminded me. We're just like, nope, gotta go. See you later.
Yeah, especially for a guy like Nick Paul, a little bit deeper down the lineup, he's like, oh shit, coach is calling me. Like, I'm not even thinking about this. This interview's done.
He's about to scream at all of us.
Pretty funny too. There was also a great quote from Game 2 from Gerard Gallant. He was talking to Frank Vetrano on the bench. He was really just giving a speech to the guys, telling them like, we need to do this, that, the other thing on the ice, right? And Vetrano's smiling there on the bench. He goes, what are you laughing at? You'll be a coach some fucking day. You'll see what it's like. So we're going to have to mark that one down and see if it happens. It would be cool to see Vetrano on the back of the bench, but I just thought it was hilarious.
Also from last game, too, so it's Friday, so that was Game 5. Am I wrong? That's game 5. Yeah, sorry. New York Police Department has arrested the Rangers fan for sucker punching the Lightning fan. Knocked him unconscious and ran away. The video has been going through all of social media. It's after the game. I think it's after the Lightning score the empty netter and everyone's just leaving. And the video is just fucked up to see one. They're all leaving. It's just the one Lightning fan behind a bunch of Rangers fans just leaving MSG, and he just turns around and just sucker punches him right in the face and goes down. The one thing I didn't like to see is that everyone on social media too is just like all these New York Rangers fans a piece of shit. It was just him because all the Rangers fans around him were screaming for security. They're all there to help him out when he was knocked out. It was just that piece of shit.
Dude, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, you can't judge an entire fan base based on what one scumbag decides to do. Like, there's plenty of scumbag Philly fans. There's plenty of scumbag Boston fans. Mm-hmm. There's not really any scumbag Seattle fans.
Not yet.
A lot of nice people out in Seattle right now. But yeah, I thought this was crazy to see. Terrible, terrible incident. I think I saw that he got like 6 different charges put against him. They had his name in there. I just didn't feel comfortable like putting it out there. Like, right. If you really care that much, you can look it up. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit?
Craziest thing is he was like banned from MSG, which I was telling you about too. Was like MSG in New York. There's so much that goes on there too. It's like not even just like a hockey game, but like if you want to go to anything else, they're just like, no, you can't be in here.
I want to say the basketball team plays there too. Is it the Knicks? I think they play at MSG as well.
I think, yeah.
But yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
But now we have Tampa Bay leading the series 3-2 after being down 2-0. This is keeping our Tampa Bay in 6 pick alive. What do you think? They're going to close it out?
Out of nowhere, too, by the way. Game 5, we were just talking about it and watching it, too. The Rangers are just so weird to me. Like, they have no puck luck. Like, they had so many chances on Vasilevsky last game, and they just couldn't, like, get it or couldn't get the stick to the puck. And then here comes Sergachev twice from the blue line wrist shot that just sneaks it right by Shesterkin there. I don't know. This goes right back to me and you saying never bet against Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, I was very nervous about it, man, at first.
Yeah.
Being down 2-0, I was like, oh, shit, it could happen.
I was telling you that I was just so shocked to see the New York Rangers, like, catch up and, like, play with the Tampa Bay Lightning, yet the Lightning still just finding a way to get it done. So, I don't know, Game 6, this could be our first series that we actually have it right.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the announcers highlight a lot about Vasilevsky and Shesterkin. The real only spot to score on them is up high, right below that crossbar over the shoulder. And then I think when it comes to the way that Sergachev's scoring, that was Sergachev scoring on Shesterkin. The traffic out front is really what helps. You screen the goalie, you can't see the puck. How's he going to make a save, Right. So, and I think they're really noticing that, and it's working for them. So they need to keep that up if they want to close it out.
Yeah, and both wrist shots, by the way. Sergachev wasn't throwing clap bombs from the blue line. It was just like perfectly placed, like wristers, like right through the fucking 8 bodies in front of Shesterkin.
The
insane.
Tempers are rising too. The blood's boiling over, and we got a couple fights the other night. I think it was Vetrano and Hagel, and then what was the other one?
Stamkos and oh god, it was Stamkos and I can't remember his name.
Jesus, I put us both on the spot. We should have had that.
Yeah, we should have had that.
But yeah, the tensions are high there. I would almost love to see this series go 7. That would be really cool to see. And I think that's all I got on that series.
Yeah, I hope we see more fights, to be honest. I hope the Rangers come in
I think
next
we will.
Game and
They're going to be pissed.
Stop. Yeah, because we didn't really get it with the Calgary
Yeah.
series at all. I don't know. I feel like old-time hockey's really losing its ways.
Yeah, we've had a pretty quiet matchup this round from Reeves. I feel like you haven't seen him throwing the weight around like he did last round.
No.
But, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
We can move on to Colorado and Edmonton
Yep.
here. So Colorado's Nazem Kadri has had to miss the rest of this series versus the Oilers, thanks to Evander Kane checking him into the boards from behind during Game 3, just wrapping up last round.
Right.
And Kadri suffered a broken thumb and underwent surgery, but hasn't ruled out returning for the Stanley Cup Finals yet. It kind of seems unlikely at this point, though. Evander Kane had a hearing after Game 3 and was suspended 1 game for Game 4, where the Oilers were eliminated. So Colorado ends up winning that one in a sweep. We had them in 6, so we picked the right team, not the right number of games.
I'm shocked that was a sweep. I was very upset that was a sweep, by the way. I thought Oilers would put up some sort of fight, and they just did not.
You know, I kind of anticipated low-scoring games where Colorado was going to beat the brakes off of them. So I kind of didn't expect this, but I expected Colorado to have an easy time with them.
Right.
My real question here, looking at this Evander Kane hit, though, is are reverse hits going to be looked at more closely now? Like, with the new rules of easing up when you see a guy's numbers, you're heading into the boards. The power has shifted into the player's hands who's skating towards the boards. So that guy gets to make the decision of, I can keep my back turned to the guy, and then, like, he can't hit me. I can do whatever I want. Or, at the last second, I can decide to turn around, put my weight into him, and now he's screwed. Like, I think I understand Evander Kane's point when he says it was kind of like a split-second decision and he didn't mean to send him into the boards, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just like the opportunity of a reverse hit, like he mentions about Kadri, he does that. A lot of players are learning to add that to their game because that's the only way to compete when your back's against the wall, you know?
Yep.
So I don't know. What do you think about it all?
I don't know. And the worst part is a lot of these get looked at in slow motion when they really shouldn't be because this game is just so fast-paced. Like, Evander Kane's right. It's just like this is all split decision. Like, you'll see like a hit and they just play it over and over and over again in slow motion on social media and just like, this play is a douchebag for doing this, you know? But then you see it in like real time, like, speed, and you're just like, holy shit, like, he had like not even a second to figure out what the hell he's gonna do there, you know? It's such like an on the fence move to like, it's like what happened in this situation too. I don't know how you judge that at all. I get that like someone's hurt, and I get that the fan base and everyone wants some kind of like suspension going on, and I don't know, like one game, and I don't know. I honestly don't know where this is going to go, to be honest.
I just think like the NHL is going to look at this and be like, do we need to look at reverse hits and figure out a ruling there now where instead of a guy getting creamed into the boards, it's a guy getting blown up and he's the defenseless player because he's not exactly anticipating the guy to turn around and light him up, you know? It didn't happen in this case, but that's just the other side of the argument now as well. I'm now defenseless because I'm coming in and not expecting him to do something like that.
Right.
When the puck is in front of him and then there's his body in between me and the puck, why is he able to hit me if I'm not within X amount of feet of the puck kind of thing?
Right.
But I don't know. That's where my mind went when I was looking at this.
It's got to be so hard for these guys to make those calls, you know? It's got to be so difficult. And of course they got to be looking at it all different angles and everything too. And I guess as a player like Evander Kane, you just, again, like, you feel bad for doing it, but it is hockey. You are in the professionals. It's very competitive. You are trying to protect yourself, as you said, with like these back checks and everything. So I don't know. I don't know where it goes, where it lies, or where it goes from here. But you definitely have a interesting opinion there. Yeah. So that's my take on it. That I am completely on the fence with this. I do not have a side. Want to move on from that to Connor McDavid, as we talked about for past month or so, ever since the playoffs even started. He joined an elite group this postseason. He joins Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Mark Messier as sixth all-time fewest games to 30 points in a single postseason. He hit the 30 mark post in 15 games, right below Mark Messier's 14. Wayne Gretzky sits in first with just 11 games needed to hit the 30-point mark back in 1983.
Jesus, dude. 3 points a game almost.
That's insane,
That's
right?
nuts.
Gretzky. But yeah, I knew we were seeing something absolutely insane with Connor McDavid as we were talking about him, and like now the stats are really showing that like, dude, like we're witnessing something like insane from this guy.
Know what someone mentioned in the locker room the other day too that was interesting was they think that with the cap space issues that Edmonton's going to have going forward, they expect them to move on from Leon Draisaitl, and I'm like, that's like splitting up Crosby and Malkin. Like, I don't know if that's an option. Like, you need to bring in goaltending, you need to bring in defense, obviously with the team, but there's got to be another piece that you move. Like, it's kind of like Toronto moving off on one of their guys.
Zach Hyman, maybe.
No, but he was huge for them this postseason. He was actually really good.
Saying. But if you were to choose, Leon Draisaitl is just like.
But think about the bag. Think about the bag you could get if you trade Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, holy shit.
Top 5 player in the league. Like, that's nuts.
Oof.
So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, Connor McDavid is Jesus on skates. He's the newest Wayne Gretzky, I'd say.
He's unreal. You were just talking about Cale Makar and the Connor McDavid, that whole one-on-one break-in.
And you know what Gretzky said, actually? He said Cale Makar is the best player in the NHL right now.
Which is
crazy to say.
Unbelievable to say.
But he's the only guy that can really, like I said, keep up with McDavid. So that's unique. That's interesting. So the other side of the puck. We did have a little injury update here. Darnell Nurse revealed that he was playing through a torn hip flexor for all 3 series this postseason. So that's insane.
Ouch.
Guy's a mutant. That's a tough thing to tear, and that doesn't feel good.
No, not at all. Not whatsoever. That's like a goalie
muscle.
Dude, my hips hurt already. Like my right hip has been like bothering me. So like games on like Mondays, which we usually play, I spend like a solid 45 minutes stretching and just like I have one of those massage guns and I just sit there on my hip because I refuse to get hurt on the ice, you know?
Yeah.
So to actually be injured and still play NHL level playoff is just it's unthinkable to me what he was going through.
We did have a interesting little stat here on the Colorado Avalanche too. Cale Makar and Devon Toews have both been in the lineup for the Avalanche 78 times this season, and the Avs are 63-9-6 and have outscored their opponents by 121 goals when these two are active in the lineup together. That's insane. As a defensive pair to put up, that much of a difference when it comes to plus minus and the record that they have this season.
Jesus.
I mean, granted, the record's a little skewed because of how well the Avalanche played this season. It is impressive that the 2 top defensemen only missed 4 games too.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. I just thought that was nice. Arturi Lehkonen actually won Game 4 in overtime for the Avalanche, sending them to the Stanley Cup Finals. And he also scored in overtime for the Montreal Canadiens last year to send that team to the Stanley Cup Finals as well.
That's awesome.
I thought that was a pretty interesting little thing there too.
Imagine that as a player. Be like, I'll never have this feeling again. And then next year, you'd be like,
yeah,
I got it.
Oh, wait, hey, this seems familiar.
Wait, yeah.
Joe Sakic, though, trade deadline acquisitions this postseason. This is nuts. Arturi Lehkonen scores that overtime winner. Josh Manson, who was also picked up at the deadline, scores an overtime winner. Nico Sturm, deadline pickup, assisted a Cale Makar overtime winner. And Andrew Cogliano has 2 game-winning goals. So this guy is just like crystal ball, like looking into the future, just knows who he needs on his team for this. And here's the next one. This is nuts too. The Avalanche went on to win this series 4-0 in a sweep, making them 12-2 this postseason. They've only lost 2 games so far. That's nuts.
That's insane to think about.
And now they're going to be going up against Tampa Bay or the New York Rangers, which I don't think they'll be able to sweep either of those teams, just, looking at it. So I imagine I think they're going to win the Cup, and I'm going to give them 6 games to win no matter who they're up against. So that would put them at 16-4.
So. I was just telling this to my coworker too. I was like, you know what? I honestly don't care if Tampa Bay, because in my head I'm always like a what's the word that underdog.
Oh yeah,
guy.
You like the underdog.
And now that the New York Rangers are the underdog, I want them to win. But at the same time, like, you know what? If Tampa wins, that's fine because now I want Colorado to beat that Stanley Cup. You know?
So Colorado's just sitting around waiting. If this goes 7 games, the Stanley Cup Finals should start on Thursday. Don't quote me on that, but I think that might be right. Game 7 for the Rangers and Lightning would be Tuesday, so we'll see what ends up happening there. Excuse me. Dave Manson, too, we talked about this once. He's an assistant coach for Edmonton, and he's the father of Colorado's Josh Manson. They had a really heartwarming hug in the handshake line as the son moves on to the finals and, Dave's team exits. So thought it was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, yep.
There was an interesting thing here, too, with Colorado. Everything's so interesting to me. I got to stop using that fucking word. They ended up touching the Clarence S. Campbell Bowl trophy for winning the Western Conference Finals. And statistically, past teams that have touched the trophy are 3-3, and teams that haven't touched the trophy are 8-8. So they'll be splitting that 3-3 deciding factor, and we'll see if that's a good idea or a bad idea next year.
Just wait and see, I guess. Wait and see.
There was an absolutely bonkers and incredible performance from Spittin' Chicklets and the TNT broadcast team during this playoff round. If any of you guys had missed it, like, this was wild. Did you see this at all?
Oh, the Biz?
Yeah, you saw his haircut?
Love it.
All right, do you know the backstory?
Love it. No,
all right, good.
I heard it was some bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna clue everyone in here for anyone that doesn't know. So
huge Spittin' Chicklets guy over here.
Yeah, so Paul Bissonnette and Ryan Whitney are from Spittin' Chicklets. Biz is now on the TNT broadcast with Gretzky and Tocchet and all those guys. So early on this season, Biz and Whit were arguing about who's going to make it further in the playoffs, Calgary or Edmonton. This is before anyone has even qualified for the playoffs. They're like, if your team doesn't qualify, like, I win, and if they don't, both don't, the bet's off, all this stuff. So fans of the show got like really excited and got exactly what they wanted in the second round when Calgary and Edmonton ended up meeting up. Biz ended up losing, and he had to shave his head like a furniture store salesman. And Whit didn't have to get his ear pierced and wear a dangly cross earring. That was his side of the bet. So I thought it was hysterical to see. It was great. They made like a big to-do about it. They were going to do it outside of Rogers Place Arena so that everyone could be there. But the way that TNT's broadcast thing worked and everything like that, they ended up moving it indoors. So it was only fans that had tickets. But they allowed them to record Whit shaving Biz's head in Rogers Place Arena on air for the fans. And it was just absolutely iconic. And then Biz has to go on national television, sit next to Wayne Gretzky and talk hockey just looking like that. It's just ridiculous, dude. So that's the wrap up on that. And then after all that was said and done, Gretzky and Biz did an awesome lineup read for the Edmonton Oil Kings versus the Seattle Thunderbirds in their game for the Memorial Cup.
This.
So the Oil Kings ended up winning that game, and they currently lead the series 3-1 with games scheduled for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
I couldn't think of a bigger, what's the word I'm looking for, pump up than to be in the locker room, and then here comes Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player of all time, to come in and be like, you know, like what they're playing for isn't the Stanley Cup, but it's what him and all the NHL guys just like remember. Like, just like, this is huge for you guys. Let's go out and do this. And I'm just like, I couldn't think of like a better pump up speech just to have that.
When I saw the video in the caption, it was like best lineup read ever. And then Gretzky's the first one to walk in the room. I'm like, this is going to be sick. Yeah. And then I was like, there's no one that can like one up him, but he's like, my friend wants to come in, and it's like Biz. I'm like, this guy is such a showman. Like, he's better than Gretzky at something like that. Like, that's nuts. He was so good at it. I thought it was hilarious. His hair just looked fucking ridiculous, though. So funny, dude. So funny.
They're killing it. You know, at first I was really kind of on the fence of Biz being there because we were saying, like, let's take our bets and see how long Biz even lasts before they even fire him.
Dude, yeah. But he has, like, towed the line. But, I mean, they got Charles Barkley on the basketball side of TNT.
I was going to say that, too. But that's bringing in fans.
Pussy. There's a great clip for any of you guys that don't get that reference. They're like... He's on the broadcast team for TNT. This clip looks so old. Barkley's on the far end wearing like a sailor hat for some reason. The guy's hilarious. And they're like just congratulating some guy that like works the broadcast booth or something like on the back end, like saying he's the best guy in the industry. And Barkley just does that cough under his breath and just dummies him live on air. One of the guys like, what are you doing? So funny, dude. I love that guy. Guy's a legend.
They're bringing in fans. They're bringing in people to watch the sport.
It's so much content. Like, even if you're not a fan of the NHL and you just flick the game up for a sec, you're like, why the hell does his hair look like that? Like, what are we doing here? But it's so funny, dude. I mean, Wayne Gretzky also, I think, outdid himself. Like, I think a lot of people were like, he's never really been front of the media presence, like the guy that's talking a lot. He's kind of like the Crosby, very professional, like doesn't say too much. But I think he's really nailed it this time around. And the team they got together too with Liam, Tocchet, all those guys, like, it's just a really good vibe. I think it's hilarious.
I love the rotation that they got going on too. Yeah. Chris Chelios is on there. I really like Chris Chelios, and they're just bringing in like these just all-stars, just like coming in talking about the game. And I love seeing Wayne Gretzky talk just about his experience and just like what he thinks about what's going on, because it's interesting to see his mindset, because he'll talk about a play, like after a period he'll talk about a play that in your head when you watched it first time you wouldn't like think anything of it, but he'll be like, this is why this play was so good in this situation, and you're like, oh my god, you have like a complete different mindset.
I remember the NBC broadcast. We were like, "Oh, this is going to be weird. TNT's not going to do too good. They focus basketball." But they really loosened it up. Like NBC was such a professional product, and this is just like kind of like you can chill, you can laugh. It's really good. But to compare Gretzky,
it's helping him out. It really is.
For sure. To compare Gretzky, when they put Tony Romo in the booth for the NFL, he was literally like telling the fans exactly what play they were going to run based on how the offense and defense were set up. And it happened I think it was another made up stat for you, like 70% of the time, exactly what Romo said. So it was kind of nuts to see. And I think he actually got in trouble for it. They were like, all right, you got to stop doing that. You can't just keep telling everyone what's going to happen. I also like the last thing I have here too. I also like the little dynamic that they have where Rick Tocchet was Biz's coach for a little bit too. So that's funny. He's like sack tapping them with the stick and stuff just because they were like locker room guys, Hilarious. I got some awards for you to tackle too, if you don't mind.
When are they going to put Whitney in there?
Whitney's not really that kind of guy, I don't think.
No, just gonna.
No, I think he's gonna ride the chiclets and just crush pink lemonade vodka.
Ugh, you mean sugar water?
Delicious.
Yeah, let's do it. So there's a few awards that came out this week. We got L.A. Anze Kopitar has won the Mark Messier Leadership Award. He has led the Kings in scoring for 5 straight seasons and for the 14th time in his career. Only he and Gordie Howe have ever led their team in scoring that many times, Howe with 17 seasons. That is awesome.
That's a wild stat.
It's a wild stat. We got some more wild stats going on, too. Our boy, Boston Bruins' Patrice Bergeron, has won the Selke Award after leading the NHL in face-off wins with 991 and win percentage with 61.9%. He also led the Nerds in the puck possession metric SAT percentage with 65.1%, with Boston accounting for 65.1% of all shots attempts 5-on-5 while Bergeron was on the ice. The best by any player since the stat was first recorded in 09-010. That is, why did I say 010? 09-10.
It is still 010 technically,
though.
It's
still kind of 010, yeah. But huge congrats to Patrice Bergeron. 5 Selke Awards. That is insane to me.
I think he's the only guy to ever win 5 now, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Good for him. Well deserving of a player. I didn't put it down here, but there was a little graph of like the votes for every player, and there was like 100-point difference between him and the player who's supposed to get the player who is now second for the Selke. It was just insane how many people voted for Patrice Bergeron.
Makes me look like an idiot when I say Barkov should get it, huh? We aren't exactly experts over here.
No. But Bergeron to get the Selke, man. So it's just awesome to see from our perspective and the NHL's perspective. And he's also not signed still. We don't know what the hell's going to happen. Possible retirement, maybe. So
we shall see.
Good way to end it, maybe.
Maybe he's going to the Islanders with Chara. Just kidding, Chara retired.
Also, we have the Winnipeg Jets. Kyle Connor has won the Lady Byng Trophy, which is given to the player who's exhibited the best type of sportsmanship and conduct combined with high standard of playing ability. Connor had a total of 4 penalty minutes this entire season and led the team with a crazy 47 goals, which ties for 5th in the league, and 46 assists in 79 games played. He's currently 5th in Jets franchise history with 178 goals in just 6 seasons with the organization. Congrats to Kyle Connor. That is awesome, buddy. I started doing a little deep dive on Kyle Connor. I'm like, holy shit, is he kind of like really fucking laying low here?
Yeah, he's one of the guys midway through the season that I said we just didn't really talk about, but he is like under the radar, like the Winnipeg Jets now, I think. And to go an entire season and only get 4 penalty minutes, like my guys can't go a men's league season 17 games and not get less than 4 penalty minutes. It's nuts. That's crazy. And to put in 47 goals, like it's just the amount of offense that he's producing and not getting penalties.
He's producing and just not. That's insane. So, wow, wow. Moving on to we have the New Jersey Devils. PK Subban has won the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, which is awarded to which is an award for the charitable work and donations he provides to the community. This year marked the 4th time in his career that PK has been one of the top 3 finalists for the award, which includes each of his last 3 seasons in New Jersey. Subban will receive a $25,000 donation to benefit a charity for charities of his choice. He launched in 2014 the PK Subban Foundation, which aims to building community of people who are passionate about helping children around the globe. Those efforts have included a $10 million pledge to the Montreal Children's Hospital in 2015, the largest ever by a Canadian athlete. A $1 million gift in March for the Le Spot, the hospital's new mental health clinic. He has continued to support the hospital through his foundation, pays visits to the hospital on his own time, and has contributed financial support to the hospital staff. This past spring, he partnered with the Montreal's Children's Hospital Foundation to match donations up to $100,000 for Ukrainian cancer patients who have been uprooted amid their country's current war. I can't think of another player or just a better person just in general to receive this award. Well done for PK Subban.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. This is the 4th time that he's been in the top 3 finalists. Like, this guy just does it all. And I mean, that $10 million donation in 2015 was huge. I remember reading about that. So shout out to him. He's always doing the best for the community. It's always geared towards children, too, which I love. Like, he's always helping children's hospitals and stuff like that.
He's just helping everyone out. He's always in Boston, too. We're just at the Celtic game that you showed me.
Yeah.
Just right on the floor. Just like, who's this guy? It's PK Subban just hanging out, taking selfies with people. Not an award here, but we're going to move on to the Buffalo Sabres. Ryan Miller is being inducted into the Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame and having his number 30 retired with the team. He was selected by the Sabres during the 5th round of the 1999 NHL Draft, 138th overall, and went on to play 11 seasons in Buffalo, during which he compiled one of the most accomplished resumes by a goaltender in franchise history. He holds team records in games played by a goaltender with 540, wins with 284, and saves with 14,847. His 28 shutouts as a Sabre are second only to Hockey Hall of Famer netminder Dominik Hasek, and his .916 save percentage ranks 3rd in winning the Vezina in 2010. So he has done a lot. You were fucking dusting him a little bit.
A lot of it. He hasn't done anything.
Look at that. Look at what he's done for the Buffalo Sabres, bud.
You got
Franchise.
a Vezina.
Yeah, and he's like next to Dominik Hasek, one of the better goaltenders in NHL history.
Yeah, but what did he do? He got a Vezina. That's it.
Okay. All right.
He hasn't done much. So I actually think that he was told that he was being inducted into the Buffalo Hall of Fame. I don't think they told him that he was having his number retired until he showed up for that event. And
oh wow.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. He seemed really like not surprised, but you know what I mean. He's like, well, wow, that's really cool. Like his family thought it was awesome too. So that's pretty cool. I think there was a goalie that had who are the goaltenders in Buffalo right now?
Tarkovsky and Craig Anderson.
Yeah, one of them showed up and took 30 for a minute and then dropped it like right away and was like, oh shit, because of Miller, I think. I don't know who, but I thought that was funny. They were like, oh shit, yeah, Miller's was on this team, so kind of weird, but it is cool to see it getting retired. It's a tough number to see retired though. Like I feel like going to a team and you can't pick 30, like.
Yeah, especially as a goalie. I feel like for years and years and years, it was like when you're a goalie, it's like 1 or 30. Like that was it. And now all of a sudden you get like 88 for Vasilevsky, 37 for Hellebuck. You know, it's just kind of all over the place. So 30 will be up in the rafters now. I think Ryan Miller. I always loved Ryan Miller. Of course, I don't know. It's hard when you say he didn't do anything for the organization. It's difficult for a goalie to score.
I'm not saying he didn't do anything for the organization. I'm saying he didn't accomplish much in his career. He got a Vezina.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Okay.
Nothing to show for it.
540 wins.
What did he get from 540 wins?
Yeah, you're right.
A Vezina.
But
that's my way of looking at it.
That's your way. That's the player's way of looking at it. Whereas the rest of us goalies are just like, wow, that's fucking incredible. But here we are getting shitted on. You're like the Shorzy right now. Like the Shorzy that just like goes up to his own goalie and be like, hey, you suck. You know.
I'm not saying he sucks. I'm just saying, Hall of Fame number retired because he got a Vezina. A little suspect. A little soft Buffalo. That's all I'm saying.
So let's move on.
We did have some Boston news here for us to cover. The Bruins have actually relieved head coach Bruce Cassidy of his duties. This is really dicey, really weird, and my way of looking at this is where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that have come out that we don't really know, like what's going on. Cassidy was actually told during exit interviews that his job was going to be safe. And then a couple days or a week later, Sweeney goes to his house and tells him that he was being fired.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of tells me, like, this is me reading between the lines. The exit interviews with the players didn't go too well, and they needed to change something.
Yeah.
That's just my way of looking at it. I don't know. But rumors were beginning to stir about David Pastrnak's willingness to re-sign with the team under Don Sweeney. And Flutu Shinzawa was tagged in a tweet that was since deleted. It basically said that he wouldn't play under Don Sweeney, but the tweet got deleted, and, like, now they're saying that Pastrnak is, like, willing to... I mean, nothing's off the table until he sits with the team in July, things like that. Like, it's really weird, and something very weird is going on with this team. I feel like a lot of hardcore Bruins fans are looking at the team and saying, the issue wasn't the coach. The issue is the drafting and developing, which starts from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Neely and Sweeney that should have gone. And if
Yeah.
you're going to get rid of Cassidy, you got to clean house entirely.
Nailed it.
For seeing Cassidy go first, it's really like, what are we doing here? And it's almost like the inmates are running the asylum at that point, and they're letting, like, the players say, we don't want this guy, is what I think.
I said there was talk about this. I feel like I can't remember what I said I compared to, but I was like, I think you sent me something like, hey, I think Bruce Cassidy's gonna lose his job, and I'm like, that's gonna be worse than Barry Trotz losing his job in the Islanders, and then it happened. And from a Bruins fan perspective, from being here in Boston, people fucking hate it. Like, here's this guy Bruce Cassidy that brought you to the 2019 Stanley Cup. You know, like, I don't understand this move whatsoever. It was just a dumb move. And, like, the more you break it down, the more you're right. Yeah, and Don Sweeney just needs to fucking go. Like, what is he picking up? There's a few guys that I refuse to even put... There's 2 players he signed that I actually refuse to even fucking put in this.
You can't say that. That's because they're prospects and you don't know who they are.
No,
every other team is signing
one
randos
dude is
too.
from, like, the DEL.
Yeah, he's a prospect.
Prospects?
Yeah, they're all just prospects. They get signed for league minimum. It happens. Every team has league minimum signings. That's not the issue. It's how he's drafted. Like, he
That's
missed
what I meant. Yeah.
on 3 picks in 2015, and it just gets worse and worse every year the way you look at that. And then even down the line, like, there's not a lot of high hope for, I don't know, like a Zaboral. Who else was on the team? He had 2 last names. I can't think of them, but I don't know. Just the young prospects, it doesn't seem too great. The talent pool doesn't seem too great. We've moved on from guys that we shouldn't have moved on from. No. Tyler Seguin was a disaster. That was Peter Chiarelli, I think, though. But, I mean,
was it? Yeah.
The contracts, too. Lindholm, I think, is going to be a good one. I think he's safe there. The money that we threw to the veteran from St. Louis wasn't great. Who was that guy? The grinder, the bruiser.
Oh, not Alex Steen. It was oh my God, why can't I think of his
Backus,
name right
David
now?
Backus.
Yeah, David
That's
Backus.
who it was.
There
Yeah.
we go. Yep.
That money wasn't great. Jerome McGinley, I don't think was great, right?
No.
I don't even know if that was him though. I don't know. I didn't do a deep dive on it, but everyone in Boston seems to think that it's Don Sweeney and Neely that need to go, and the first move is getting rid of Cassidy. It just doesn't seem like that's the way that they're going to go.
That was just a dumb move altogether.
But now there are currently 9 teams in the NHL with head coach vacancies: Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, New York Islanders, Philadelphia, Vegas Golden Knights, and the Winnipeg Jets. There is basically a coaching carousel, and I just think that the shelf life of a coach is so short in this league now, and there's 32 teams in the league. The bottom half would be 16. Some of these teams weren't in the bottom half, but 9 out of 16, let's say, don't have a job anymore. So if you're finishing in the bottom 16, there's a 50% chance that you lose your job, is the way that I look at those numbers.
That's insane math
right
there. Yeah, you're right.
Like, a quarter of the league doesn't have a coach right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
That's like saying, hey, we didn't draft right. Hey, our players aren't playing to what they should be, and we're going to blame the coach for it.
Well, sometimes it is, but yeah, it is a scapegoat mentality. Like, hey, we can can this guy and bring in something new and shake things up. But I don't understand why they're not sticking with a guy and just continuing. Like, after a certain amount of years, it makes sense. But some of these guys literally just got there. Like, look at Peter DeBoer in Vegas. Look at Gerard Gallant when he was in Vegas. And Florida has turned over multiple coaches. So It's crazy. It's just nuts to see. And lastly, I did have a small little thing here. I didn't really want to dive too deep into this, but Sportsnet reporter Sean McKenzie was arrested for public intoxication in Nashville this week. This was not a great look. We all do stupid things when we're drunk, but
Smashville, baby.
a little tough to see here.
Smashedville.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other hockey news you got?
Do be like that sometimes, you know? No, I got nothing. Just having a fun time.
There you go.
And
What
then
a
his
guy.
name came up. That was it.
What a guy.
Yep. Wasn't doing it live on air. He's fine.
There you go.
That's my take on it.
In other news, we're going to talk about Live Golf. Have you heard about this at all, the Saudi League?
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually talking about it with me and my coworkers as well. How crazy this league is, by the way.
Yeah, the money they're throwing around is friggin' insane. So Tiger Woods actually rejected an offer from them for what is reportedly close to $1 billion, which is worth roughly half of his career earnings overall. Sponsorships, everything. He's earned $1.7 billion, and they offered him close to $1 billion to join. He said no. That's insane.
That's insane.
How do you turn that down, dude?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
How do we turn down golf news, though?
What do you mean?
I said, how do we turn it down? We can't.
What do you mean turn it down?
Can't down. It's a hockey podcast. And
Oh,
we
okay.
always have something to do with golf.
Well, yeah.
you know?
I mean, you got to dabble a little bit.
Dabble a little bit. Yeah, you gotta.
We can do no. We can skip it.
Toes in the
You
water.
want to skip it?
Nope. Let's do it. I want to do it.
Phil Mickelson signed in the Live Golf League for roughly $200 million, and Dustin Johnson signed for $125. Bryson DeChambeau, Ricky Fowler, and Patrick Reed are all expected to join this golf series. And DeChambeau is getting over $100 million guaranteed, and that means they paid somewhere between $400 and $500 million for DeChambeau, Mickelson, and DJ, which are the three big names for them. I
Count me in.
And you know what? The PGA says count them out because they are going to be suspending all current and future Live players.
Fine with me. 100 mil? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be an event in Boston for Live Golf too. One of their events.
Really?
Yeah. Their last three, I think, were Thailand, Saudi Arabia, and maybe somewhere in Europe. But the rest were all U.S. events. I think there were 9 events. But it is nuts to see.
That's fine with me. 100 mil? Be like PGA. Be like, yeah, we're not gonna have you in a mil. Like, that's fine.
Ever again though?
I'll make it.
Now you're making 100 mil this year, and then who knows where the league goes?
Dude,
Well, actually,
where
that's
does
100
that
mil
money
guaranteed.
go, dude? Think about it. We're gonna pay you 100 mil to play this league. Finish your contract. Literally retire for the rest of your life.
Yeah, or you get addicted to living that luxury lifestyle, and every meal costs $200 a plate instead of $5 at McDonald's.
Yeah,
and that's how all these major athletes end up going broke because they don't manage their finances correctly. Their agent has to take care of that for them ahead of time, and they just ignore it. And I want to live this life.
Shaq,
yeah,
that's one of them.
Did he? He ended up going bankrupt.
Oh God, yeah.
Wow.
That's why he does everything, man. The icy hot. Now he
the
does
general.
TNT,
I like the new general commercials where they're like, "Oh, it's actually a reputable insurance company." Thanks, Shaq.
Nothing's changing either. I just saw a thing. Some home. It was on YouTube, literally, and there's some home place that they do like koi fish, like outdoor fish thing. And he was just like, yeah, we're outside Shaq's house. This is very recently too. And like, yeah, these koi, like they're very rare. They're worth like $5,000 each. And here's Shaq just like, oh, this is really nice. I'm like, dude, you're blowing your money. You have you haven't learned your lesson from before.
I think he did though, because we saw the interview with him where he says like, my kids aren't rich, I'm rich. They have to earn it. They have to give me 2 degrees, and then they can have some of my money. So I think he's getting there, but he's got to earn some money back. He can't play basketball anymore, so. Maybe some sponsorships. I did have some rugby news too. This is kind of interesting. I don't know if you kept up with any of the stuff that I sent, but the MLR has had to disqualify multiple teams this postseason and has yet to give fans any real answers as to why. It's so weird. Like they're just blanket statements that mean nothing. So this has led to a lot of people making their own conspiracy theories about it, right? So the LA, forgive me, Gelatinous. I don't know. They're all Gaelic names. They've been disqualified for the postseason due to a, quote, violation of league rules. That was the first post that they had, and that was it. Nothing else. So fans are commenting what the fuck is this? What do you mean? A few days later, they tried to be more clear about what occurred while also explaining the disqualification of another team, the Austin Gilgronis. They said that Austin has been DQ'd due to the team management's failure to cooperate with a league investigation concerning potential violations pertaining to player compensation. So that's a bit of an elaboration, but still not really telling us what happened or why. Mm-hmm. And then LA was DQ'd due to conduct deemed detrimental to the league, which means nothing. No explanation.
Nothing.
So fans are just pissed. this makes no sense. Like, this is dumb. For them to try and, like, grow a game like this is just such a bad look, and it just makes no sense to me to just leave this as open-ended and blanket statemented as they did.
Jesus. Can you
Isn't that
imagine?
weird?
Just,
right?
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, no. Can you imagine being a rugby like fan and be like, dude, what the hell's going on? That's like, I don't know. This is rugby though, like not as big, but
It's growing. I mean, yeah.
it is growing.
But when's the last?
Like, the NHL just like, hey, we're suspending the Boston Bruins because they did this, and you're like, yeah, but what's this? And there's like,
It reminds me of the only real like last team I can remember being suspended is the Olympic Russian team for PEDs. I think that was 2018.
Oh, that's right.
And they had to be like the Olympic athletes from Russia instead, or some shit like
I thought
that.
that was recent. I thought that was more
Yeah.
like 2019, 2020, something like that.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, probably 2020.
Wasn't that like the POC or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
and that's the only thing I can really compare it to. But like, at least then you knew exactly what happened. You
Yeah.
know, and that's kind of what I expected. I expected a PED thing, but it says player compensation and detrimental to the league. Like,
Right.
those are two very weird things to put out there, I guess.
My cousin Matt, ironically, played college rugby and then semi-professional rugby, and then
You got to be a psycho to play rugby. That shit's wild.
I say that to him all the time. Like, dude, what the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing? Just like
It's crazy.
Goalie, I'll take a shot to the mask
Yeah.
anytime, but just rugby, just like, wait, what do you wear?
Hey, you have to wear ear pads this big as my headphones
Yeah.
so that you don't get your ear ripped off. Like, what kind of sport is that?
Yeah, but you're bleeding through the face and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, he's a big dude. Big dude.
Oh, you have
It's
to
like,
be.
dude, I'd
nuts.
never fuck with you, you
No.
know? But gotta have big balls to play rugby, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Ready
yeah.
to do a shot, buddy?
Let's do a shot. We are very, very close to the Stanley Cup Finals, by the way.
Oh, shit, bro.
That
You don't
insane.
say.
I do not.
Wow,
say.
dude. This opened so easy this time. Last time I spilt this fucking everywhere. Be careful when you open it. We have Slurp Jello shots today. I got blue raspberry. Buddy of mine works for them.
I use the same. Red always.
Be
fucks
careful.
with
Don't
me.
spill. Put it over there. You're going to spill it. Yeah.
Red always messes with me.
Oh, yeah. Good man. It's kind of weird to open.
I've never done. So, fun fact for
These are
everyone.
pre-made Jello shots. They're
Yeah,
hilarious.
I've never done a Jello shot before in my life.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers. Ugh. Why does those exist? Ugh.
Good little ASMR for you guys.
No.
I like them. You don't like Jello shots?
That's a no-go. No, I don't like Jello shots.
Wow.
It's like the texture.
Yeah. It's definitely a texture thing. I feel like
I think the problem is I don't know how you did it, but I took it like a shot, and then I just squeezed it, and like a whole thing of like.
yeah, that's
whole
how it is. That's
flop.
how it goes. Yep.
And then it just like sat in my cheek, and I'm like, "Fuck, I gotta swallow it now."
I use my tongue to get in there and pull it out, but same thing. It just slops in there.
Yeah, that was weird.
Bomb.
That was very sugary. Like my
Very
back
sugary.
of my throat is like, "Oh,
Yeah.
the fuck did you just have?"
I'm gonna have heartburn tonight.
I'm gonna. Yeah, that too. But yeah, that is it. So you want to call us out?
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Peace.